All right, I think we're rolling here. I'm just going to refresh my little feed here so I can see that we're live. And yeah, today I'm in Plasticity making some 3D objects, some props for a Reallusion character that I have an entire collection for through them. Now that I'm a certified content creator, let me just rotate this guy around a little bit. Yeah, so we're just gonna start making this TV, kind of like a 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s era, or 70s, 80s more like, you know, era TV and cart for that TV. So I'm just gonna kind of get a feel for what I know it needs to be, and I'll probably turn these images off and on a lot as I kind of figure it out. So let me just see which angle I am on here. So we'll just go from this side, and I'm going to make me a rectangle. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm probably not talking into the mic as best as I need to do. And I think maybe about like this for that guy, and there will be another one for this side that will happen here too. I need to do that one kind of in a more manual way, about like this. I'm just remember what my old TV from childhood looked like. I'm gonna just go with that. And now I will pull out this side piece. I'm going to hit the tab key. Make sure we're going in two directions at once. It was not a wide screen. It was a 4:3 screen. So I'm going to make sure I don't get that too wide. I'm going to kill that rectangle, and then we can go with this guy here. Hit the tab to where it goes out both sides. Something like that. And get rid of that polyline as well. So first thing, I know that these corners all need to be rounded and so on. Yeah, I think that's probably where I'll start, because there was no taper to the body or anything like that. So we'll just grab these, get that nice rounded 70s kind of edge to that. I know all of these parts were rounded here as well, and I'm talking all of them. So we'll just take care of these, not the front ones that attach to the actual TV though. Just pull those much more round. I'm probably gonna have to look up something to tell me, you know, what needs to be done a little more or less, but you get the idea. I think that's working fine. I'm just going to attach these two pieces together now. That one might want to be recessed a little bit, so I think I'm going to take this face, push that in. Whoops. We don't want to push that one in. We want to actually extrude it in, just like this. Gives this a little edge on that anyway. Then I'll grab the whole thing here, and we'll snap it to like that edge. That way I can snap it to this surface. We should be good. Okay, that back may change a little bit, but it also may not. So the next thing, I know we've got a few layers of stuff that has to happen, but I'm going to make the initial shape for the recess of this. First, I'm just going to take this here, this curve, and grab all of it. We're going to duplicate that, and then I'm going to scale that in. You know what? And instead of doing that, this is a much better way. I'm going to grab that whole thing, like I said, but we're going to do a where is it at here? My offset curve. That way it doesn't get weird and small or short on certain sides that we don't want it to. We're just going to do it like this. And I'm going to make sure, let's go with that first. And I know that we need to do probably another. Trying to imagine how this should go. Okay, so I'm going to take this again. We're going to duplicate that again. We're going to size that in again. Nope, that's not. I just got done saying that's not how we're doing it, but I did it anyway. How about I just do it like that? Now I got to remember there has to be controls on this side. So for this part, that should not be like so. We need to make another line to cut this from the side, because that's pretty much where your controls and stuff are going to go. Right through here. I think I might even move that over to this side a little bit more, give the screen just a little bigger look. And if I'm getting confused or whatever, I could always turn this on and say, yep, that's about what that sucker looked like. Kind of like a microwave with a screen on it instead of the window. So I'm just going to leave that one open here for a second. So we've got this first white edge. That's what this is here. Then there's this whole other central section that we're going to be making here shortly. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to go ahead and cut this through that. So now we have just this shell. And then we can take this piece now that we've got here. I'm going to grab both of these. I'm going to pull this out slightly. No, I'm not. I'm going to grab both these. I'm going to pull that one back. And it doesn't matter here because, you know, that's all. It's got a back to it. But that needs to be pushed out now. So if I were to, I think, hide this curve. Is that going to work for me? It should. I'm going to turn that line back on because we are going to need it. That line now we'll cut later, but this here needs a duplicate line around the outside again because I need to pull it out, but I also need to make this kind of a smaller version of it all the way around. So let's just duplicate it here. Why is that? What's the problem? Control D. Okay, maybe I need to do Shift D. That's what I meant to do. And now I'm going to pull this one forward a bit. And also make that a little bit smaller. Because it will help me create the little slant or bevel that this piece is supposed to have. So I'm just going to pull that one in a little bit more, this one a little bit more now. Something around that, I guess. I mean, ish. And then I'm going to you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of this inner cube completely. And I'm going to take this edge here and we're going to duplicate it again, this one. Let me get away from what I'm trying to not select here. There we go. We're going to duplicate that one again. And we're going to have that one with it, what do you call it? Actually completely selected, and then this one here selected. We're going to loft those together, and so that'll create that slanted bevel kind of that goes all the way around right there. It's a little bit larger, but hey, it's a stylized version of it, so I'm not horribly worried about it. We're going to take this whole piece now that we've just done, and we're going to hopefully be able to patch that to where it fills the holes. I'm going to get rid of my curves because they're just annoying, except for that straight curve. Let's just take these and get rid of those. And see, now we can come in, we can bevel all this all off and make it nice. I might even want to take this piece we just made and make it a tiny bit smaller to give me a little bit of a gap all the way around. Let's see if we can do it evenly. I doubt it's going to work evenly. Well, maybe it is. Let me just try and not snap that. But I think that's okay. On these, I guess there was a little bit of a gap or whatever going, so it doesn't matter because this will all be in shadow later. If I wanted to extend that back, we could. Let's just do it for the sake of having more of a watertight model. So I'll just hide that, and I'm gonna grab this guy and just pull this back some. Oops, we need to extrude, not offset. So I'm just gonna do that, and we're gonna say yep, right click, and there we go. So now we have this portion in the front we're going to take chunks out of. So let's turn on everything else. So now we'll create like a proper shadow in here, and you won't see things poking out or not, covered or whatever. I also need to now make this screen opening initial cut, and then that one, which is going to be fun. And then I need to make the area there. So I think with looking at our curves, let's grab the curve that we have for the front here. That one's going to need to cut pretty much through everything. So I'm just going to go grab that, cut it with this curve, hopefully. Nope, wrong way. So we'll look at from the front. So now we're going to cut it, this piece with this curve, right click, done. So now we have that separate piece. We can get rid of our curve, probably all those. And now what? Let's make this opening for the screen, which looks like it's not curved. It's just the exact kind of same opening. It might be a little bit curved, but I'm going to see what I can get away with. So we're gonna have to make some circles to kind of decide crazy process, folks. If you like what you see or want to learn how to do it, or oh heck, I don't know, anything, let me know. Get a hold of me. So I'm going to take this guy. We're going to, what do you call it? Alt-X it over. I think I'm just going to go the full width first, and then move those in once they're placed. So I'm just going to go Alt-X. We're going to go from the top to the bottom now. Did I put those in the wrong spot? That's okay because they can be moved. Good enough. Let's just get this. Oops. From the front, Sean. From the front. Helps if you do it right. All right, so I think that's okay. What I want to do, I'm going to get rid of these lines. We're going to actually draw those in after the fact. I'm going to put these where they go. I might actually need those there for maybe that one there, and I'll pull the bottom one up perhaps so that that round is similar. I don't know if that's necessary, but you know. Let's duplicate these over first. So I'm just going to copy and paste them. And we can move these about where those go. Okay, and then we'll have to sort all this out. This one's going to wind up, if it stays, somewhere up here. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. And now we can grab the center lines of these. So what it's trying to do is make a tangent here. And that's what we want there. I'll kill that. And then now we'll go from center of this to this. Do the same thing. All sides. And it's a good thing it's trying to make a tangent, because sometimes you absolutely want it to do what it was doing there. To flip opposite or straight across. So now we have that. We're going to get rid of those inner circles by clipping them out like so. Now we have just this nice, open area. And then we need to make another one that matches the screen, and it will dig in, and we're going to create this bevel or that sloping surface, but it has to also be rounded, bulging out, and this up and down and side to side. That's not easy. So we're going to do that. And you know what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take these curves. Let me just make sure I'm not going to minus them. I'm going to grab all these curves and combine them to where we just have one curve here to clean up my little side bit here. These can stay for the moment. And I need to make another rectangle based on this one. I think this will work anyway, so we're just going to duplicate it. And from the front, we're going to scale it in. And from the front, it should look perfectly like so. But what we're going to do is we're going to make it round out this way. So I'm also going to hide these other parts, making sure I'm not hitting delete. And then we're going to go into our point mode here, and we're going to try and sort how this works. So I'm going to create some split points, kind of along these centers of these lines. Nice thing is it just automatically finds a center if I slowly drag that around. Close, yeah, that's good. So when I push these back, these will stay. I'm hoping they're not going to stay in a sharp manner, but we can take care of that too. So I'm going to grab these 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. And we're going to try and push those backward in space, and hopefully these will stay in a curve. We can always hope. They'll probably be sharp though. And it doesn't want me to do it. Cool. So what I might have to do is draw them individually, which is fine. So I'm just going to go from here. I'm going to use my shift tap to make a line, which is really awesome that you can do that. And then this one will come to the third one in, this one. Right click to accept, and that is our top line, which I need to go and realign that now. So grab. Remember, this is for the screen, so I will have to, now that I think about it, shorten these out. Somehow I'll figure this out here. So this one's going to get duplicated to the bottom. We'll just drag and snap it to that line. And now we need to make another curve. And I think I might be able just to duplicate this one and then shorten it or whatever, because the screen is 4x3. It's not 4x4. This looks a little more like 4x4. So we might have to pull everything down here. So let's just grab, including that. And let's grab the whole thing here and scale this and just pull this a little narrower like that. Then we're going to have to resize the, didn't mean to do that. Then we're going to have to resize the the actual original box, but grab the curves and move them. Something like this. I'm going to leave this one because this is going to be essentially the contact point of this frame once we push it back, and then this will be the screen once we get to making that. So I'm going to kind of come in here and make a, from the side, I hope, yep, a bit of a curve. Something similar to what we've got. And we can, once again, tap to our center, come out from there from the like a guide, and then I can come back here and go back there, and hopefully that does what we wanted it to. Yep, looks good. And then I can duplicate that. But see, this isn't going to be right because that, yeah, I guess it kind of is. I don't know how to make that shape. I'll be completely honest with you. Gonna have to wind up doing this as a surface modeling, because right now, I mean, it is surface modeled, but I mean, right now, this bulge on the side can't be like that bulge at the side. So I'm gonna move that one actually to the center. That'll be our center bulge, as it was called once. I think this one's got to do the same thing. Like, you can't have this wide on the edge. It has to be that wide in the middle. So it's just a lot of figuring it out as I go sometimes. So now we have this bulging both directions, but you can see this one is not correct. So it's stylized, so I'm not really worried which one of these goes forward. But I'm going to try and snap that line to that line. Not sure if that's able to be done because I'm snapping the control points and not the actual line. That's annoying. Let's see, how would I do that? Our line is there. Grab the points now. I don't think you can snap the line. You can guess it at it. It's just not the most accurate way, and I don't even know that will work given what we got going on. It will, because it's a guide surface. It's not the surface we're lofting. It's the surface we're using as the guide for the loft. So it might work, maybe. Okay, and then see, that way they'll come and be more flat toward the edges, I suppose. Not even sure that will work the way I've got it. But okay, so what I'm going to do anyway is I'm going to hide these curves. Not those. This one and this one for the moment. And then I'm going to take these. I got to make an outside, an outer edge for them. So, like a complete shape. So from here, let's use a straight line. And I'm going to, just trying to guess, going to tap my shift here to give me a guide. That will let me do that way. Just going to go ahead and go all the way over, and we'll do another shift. Whoops. Tap here and here. I'm not even sure I'm doing what I need to be doing here. I'm just taking a stab and then going, okay, that won't work, so I have to do it this way. That's my entire technique. Yeah. Keep stabbing until it makes sense. There's other people who do that in life. And I think I'm going to take those points here, curve those out, because the edges of this should be curved. I think that's the best thing to do here. So we hit B, bevel our corners in, They do need to be beveled. And I do want a rounded kind of curved kind of edge to this. So I think what I need to do is duplicate this line, pull that back, and loft that as well. I think that works. We'll see. I don't know for a fact that's true. So with that, let's give this a go. I'm going to grab this one and loft it to here. I want to kind of leave it in a roundy space. So if I did it as a G1 or 2, does that work? Probably not until I get, you know, the other done. So I'm going to loft this one. I don't think this is going to work the way I've got this set up. Dang it. I'm going to loft that one. Nope, I didn't think so. Okay, so this does need to be split. That can't be all one curve, because I'd like to loft this one to this edge. Yeah, that does not work that way. Okay, let's back up a couple steps then. And I'm going to take those bevels out, and we're going to explode this so it's not going to be connected. We're going to unjoin. They call it exploding in other programs. And I'm going to take this piece and this piece, see if we can loft it to this one using a G1, G2, G0, G. No. Okay, so that didn't work. Let's undo that. Not sure why. Probably because these need to be joined to each other. So we're going to join those and try it now, and that should work just fine. So loft, and there we go. Then we can pick the G1 to whatever we need for it when we get there. And then I want to also loft it from here. Okay, and this one's got to be joined. So let's back up one more time. I'm going to join these as well. Make sure these are joined to each other as well, because these will eventually be the guides. I mean, this is one way of doing it. I think this will work. So here to here to here, and we loft that, and now we need to say this is a guide, this is a guide, and this is a guide. I don't think that was the right direction to do the guides in. Okay, let me fix that. Oh wait, what am I doing? So put it back. Okay, let's just join these back together. These back together, these together, these back together. And now we're going to loft from here to here to here, L. And then we take this, this, and this generally would be our guides, which doesn't work. So, my favorite. All right, so from here to here to here, we'll loft. That is fine. It's the fact that this isn't perfectly placed, probably. I probably can get away with using those as guides. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that'll work. Make sure I don't need to do this any other way. That looks fine. Okay, we'll agree. And I'm going to get rid of the curves because I don't think I need them for anything. And then we're going to go in here, expand or extrude that backwards. Yeah. And then I'm going to take those 4 corners. Well, just these. Actually, I think these are not one shape, or is it? Let me get rid of that plane. This works now. Let's delete the redundant topology real quick. That's you. It's going to need that. Huh? And now I'm going to take these 4 corners, hopefully. Let's add in some weird edges to that. Hopefully it won't be a problem. And we're going to round those out. And then we're going to round all of these out. That's going to give us, you know, more or less the shape. Probably not exact now that I'm looking at it, but let's undo this. I want to trim that screen better. And you know what? My extrusion was not straight back, I just noticed. So to fix that, we're going to extrude. We're going to hit V. We're going to go from this axis. So I've got that curve. We don't want that. So I'm trying to figure out how to extrude. That says it's straight. I just don't think it is. So I'm just going to push this back, and I'm going to look from the top. So it doesn't seem like that's extruding perfectly on the axis, and it is not. You can see that there. So extrude, yeah. This has to be done V. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Let's go with F instead. That's exactly what we want. So I'm going to go with that. Make sure it's straight back, and we're good. Okay, now I can cut through those edges the way I want. So from the front, let's just give ourselves a nice little, and we're going to use this previous done bits. Let me just get rid of that. We're going to duplicate this. I'm going to grab it and move it over somewhere here. Turn on our x-rays so we can see what the heck we're doing. And there's no way I'm going to get this centered here like this. So what I need to do is hit V, I believe, and go from the edge of my circle. Then we snap it to here, and then we grab it again and hit V to grab it from this edge, and we move only over in that direction and snap to that edge. It's close. It's not right, and I can already see that. I'm going to grab again, go V, and grab V here. I'm going to snap that right to the edge as much as I can. It's close enough, probably. That's going to give us that cut from this whole thing, and I hope that is correct as well. So I'm going to, probably would have been smart to put this centered, but let's go ahead and Alt-X this. Let's use the free hand version. We'll grab both of these, Alt-X these, and use our freehand to hopefully place those in the right place. Let me just that's not right. Let me turn on the X-ray. Well, it is on. Odd. Let's go Alt-X freehand and try to make this. Yeah, there we go. from the center would probably be best. Imagine that. I dislike very much that this doesn't let you see as well as you need to. And let's see if this will work at least. It's kind of janky, but it should work. So from here, we're going to, oh, and we still have that front face. We don't want that, so let's get rid of that. So from here, we're going to subtract, or cut, I should say, that through there and so forth. Okay, let's try this again. I'll grab this. We're going to go cut. We're going to use one at a time. Boom, done. Did it work? Yes. Okay, this one, we're going to say cut. Grab this dude. Right click. Didn't work. So that one's not close enough to the edge. I can already see it. So I don't know why that one doesn't work on this side. They're supposedly mirrored. We're going to grab the curve. And we're going to control click that right to the edge. Those look like they might be good. So then once again, back on the object, click it, cut using this guy, and good. We're going to grab that guy again, cut using this one, good, yes, yes. And this one, cut and use this, and good to go. So now we can get rid of these chunks here. We can get rid of the curves. And then we can stick these pieces back together. And we're perfect now. So that was a little convoluted, but it's how you get that screen to be much better. Because now I can take these, hopefully, don't be a jerk, and I'm going to, for one, so I don't need this that way in the back, so if I wanted to, this might be a better way of handling this. I'm going to get rid of those faces, and then I can select the object and tell it to patch any holes, which will be the obvious ones. In the back, which it didn't do. Cool. All right, so let's figure out why. Let me delete any unnecessary topology, which might be our problem, which it seemed to be. So now if I go in and patch it, that extra line should have made all the difference, and it did not. Cool. All right, so how this is going to work. I might be able to get rid of these two. Yeah, it won't let me dissolve that one in. So that's okay. So what I'll do next is possibly, I don't think you can do this, but I'm going to try. Loft that with a G0. I'm going to loft this with a G0, and I'm going to tell it these are my guides. That doesn't work. Of course not. That's all right though, because I could probably loft this to here and then use these as my guides on a G0, and that worked. Amazing. I can't believe that worked because I was just taking a stab in the dark. So loft, use these, G0, accept. Good. All right, so now you need to make all these sheets one. So I'm going to click J, and that now gives us the solid we were going for in the beginning. There's always a way around it, is what I'm getting at. Wish that worked in real life. All right, here we go. So I'm going to take this now and try to pull this into some beveled version of itself. Not too far, obviously, or it won't work. All right, let's cancel that. Try it one more time, really slowly. Right there. That's as good as that one's going to get. All right, so we'll turn on our other objects. See how far away from everything we are. So we have some curves that are going to help me get that placed correctly, but we have to make sure that these are all cut correctly. I think that one should be a bit bigger, and let's make our screen just a little less widescreen. And I'm going to grab the, yeah, let's just do that. And we'll grab this and make it larger overall, probably. Yeah, I think that's better. Not understanding my ratio so much with that, but we'll figure it out. That's going to need to move up as well as these curves. So from the front, you can see that's closer to the top, a little wider there and there at the bottom. I'm going to go here and just pull this up slightly. Not worrying about any of that. We'll worry about the overall size of this here in a sec. And then I think I'm going to scale this just a little bit taller. And I don't understand what he's doing. That's okay. You don't need to, Bessie. All right, so I think I need to grab this piece. I'm going to cut it using this one. We're going to accept that, and then I'm going to grab that inner solid right there. Oh, that's our screen, and let me just rename that, I think. Pretty sure that's our screen. Need to find the one. Let me just hide a few things here too. I'm going to turn off my X-ray, and let's just hide this guy, this guy, this guy, and that's the one that I want to delete. And then back to the others. And the reason why I wanted to delete that is because I need to take this edge now down to the frame that goes around this. Need to make sure I do have that inner curve. There we go. Let's get it the right size because it's too small now. Because I'm going to extrude a little, expand a little edge out from it as well once that's done. So let's do this, and now let's make it farther in. It's going to be about that, something like that, I think, for now. And we're going to grab both of those edges or curves. It's not an edge. We're going to loft those and say okay. You can see now, once I turn off all these curves, well, the lines anyway, that we're left with this surface that's very similar to what we wanted. The screen I'm probably going to push much farther back in there now. It's not perfect, but like I said, it's stylized. And then I'm going to make a little edge that goes around here, like a little lip that fits all the way around. And let's see what the easiest method of that's going to be. So I'm going to just grab all my edges, probably be able to extrude them out, maybe. Probably should solid this first. So on this lofted piece, it's just a sheet. So what I'm going to do is take this piece of sheet and thicken it here. We want to thicken it inward, not outward. It doesn't matter how thick it is as long as it becomes a solid. Talking about sheet and solids, that didn't sound good. With that, let me just see the edges. I'm going to redo that because I don't like the thickness that I'm getting or not getting. I'm also going to hide the screen temporarily. And this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm going to see how thick this piece is going to become when we thicken this sheet. So let's go here and just kind of see. Doesn't matter how thick as long as I can get an edge from it to extend out to, extrude. Okay, so there we go. And now I can hopefully come in here, find an edge like this one. I don't know if I can get all of it or just that part. So let's, it's a little bit of craziness though. And with that, can I just extrude this edge? Don't think that's going to let me do what I want. So I know what I need to do then. Let's take this guy and hide it again. Whoops. Control Z. We're going to take this guy and hide him. And we are going to duplicate this curve. I'm going to scale it out a little bit, but also we're going to extrude the whole thing inward here. Create that thickness that I wanted to, and that is just a curve though, is it not? So that's not what I wanted to do. I want to take that curve as a face and do that. So and then I'm going to take that same curve and size that one down with our X-ray on so we can see what we're doing. I'm also going to grab that curve and move it forward because I cannot see it. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate that curve now and size it down. Something like that. And we should be able to select this as a separate face. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to grab this curve now Make sure I snap it to the other surface or to the other curve. Will that work? Let's see, right to there as much as I can. I should be able to grab this face now. Yep, that's what I wanted. Let's push that back to where I now have that edge. Let's go ahead and take all these curves off. Okay, what did I do? Let me find out. Let's hide this stuff one more time. So that's all I want there. So what is the one? That one can go away. Not needed. You also not needed. That's the frame and the outer frame. So those guys need to be bonded together. What nobody sees or knows doesn't hurt them, as we always like to say. You know, we, whoever they are. That's not necessary to mess with. It's all put together. It's fine. We'll turn our other pieces on and see what's going on or what we're missing. I know that screen is still a little weird, so it needs to be pushed back in. Till we are behind that little edge. Much better. So these corners obviously will need beveling, so we'll just do these one at a time apparently. Let's also make sure these are the same object, because if they're not, they won't work at all. All right, this gets a slight, okay, and that looks like is there a gap? No, I guess not. It's the x-ray that's throwing me off. Let's just see. Okay, it's better. And I'm going to take this edge and round this one. Hopefully successfully, like that a little bit. I could take this one and slightly soften it, maybe, maybe not. Let's see if it'll let me do it here. It don't like that. Let's see if it'll let me do it the other way. Nope. We'll figure that out. This one, though, must be able to be done. That's good to go. Obviously, this one. And I think I want to join this back in maybe, or maybe I'll just wait till I get this stuff done and then I'll fill it in that. Yeah, that might be better. Let me just see what's left over here. Everything looks kind of okay. There needs to be kind of a base at the bottom of this thing too. I'm going to do a very slight fillet on this edge just to help it be a little more solid feeling. We also need to patch the back of this guy. That's just a matter of doing a loft here as a G0. Then this with the same way where we match the corners, loft, tell it G0. Use these as our guides. This, loft, boom, and well, this one's even gonna let me see it. There we go. And boom, and G is 0, and you're good. And then I'm gonna take that. Hopefully it's all, we need to make this one piece, so I'll just QQ that. Oh, it's because those are sheets. Dag nabbit. So let's make the sheets one sheet. Get your sheet together. And then we need to thicken that sheet. Inward a little bit. Doesn't matter how much. Right click, done. And now we can take that and queue those together. It didn't want to do it still. So let's figure out why. That. There's no reason why. Well, it don't want to, that's for sure. Okay, so maybe if I made it thinner or thicker, or offset it just slightly, because that's how that works. Just hide this one. I'm going to grab, and maybe we should remove the redundant topology if there is any on this. Might clear something up. Nope, maybe on this one and this one. See, that's the thing with this too. I mean, those aren't going to make any difference on any of that, because that's a different piece in the front. So this is really just going to be dealing with the, what do you call it, that other piece. I'm going to go ahead and bond this to the back piece. Maybe that will make a bigger difference too. So that's one piece. We'll turn this one back on and see now if I do those two at this point, will they go? No, it did like something about that. I know if I make this slightly bigger, it can always work as well. So let's just go with scale. And we'll put in like a 1.01 and all three. Just so we get a little more of an overlap or whatever on something. You can see already it's making a thing. Don't really like that, but grab it, move it a little more in maybe. There we go. If there's an edge here, it's okay because I can always bevel that edge. There is kind of an inset that should be here anyway, so that actually works out. And then now I'll take this and this and hopefully, yep, no problem. Okay, cool. So it just needed to be offset. That does happen a lot. I'm going to pull this one and we're good there. Probably here. Okay, I'll work on the details of that in a bit, but this is looking pretty good now, finally. So I need to make a cutout for the channel changers. And I had some circles, but I'm going to go ahead and just leave those out for now. And I'm going to create, let's see, just a rounded rectangle. Is there a rounded rectangle in here? There's a center rectangle, 3-point, and corner. Let's just use a center. Now we don't have a center point, so let's make one. So that's coming from the center. That works fine there. I think that will be okay. At least we have it in one direction. And that's what makes it beautiful. Okay, let's just get that there. And boom. Wrong direction, buddy. Let's just, I think if I hit tab, that'll write, won't it? So we'll do the center rectangle again. If it's in the wrong direction, I think you hit tab. And that doesn't change crap. Is it D or V? Nope. V? Nope. There's a thing you can hit. And I'm trying to remember what it is. I used to do this. B, D. What was it? It wasn't, it was D, wasn't it, for direction? F for flip. I know corner, square. No, there's a way to do it. It's not WE. That's square. Don't need that. In. I didn't want to do that either. Yeah, that's none of those work. So I'm going to do this in the front. Wasted all that time for nothing. But anyway, let's just go here. Boom, like so. It's like if you could do that the whole time, Sean, why were you sitting there even bothering with the other? I don't know. So that's what I do, I guess. Okay, let's just pull that somewhere here. I should probably grab that edge. We're going to go V using this edge, and that way I can snap it to that. Snap it to the edge. And then I will make probably an arc. Tangent arc maybe from here to there. And those we can Alt X F POW. It'd be nice if that was the same size, wouldn't it? Grab V here, snap it to this one. Alt X F and good. So now I should be able to trim these corners off. And we have that. I'm going to get rid of these for now. This is just for this cutout bit here. I'll round those out after the fact. And I need to make sure this is as high as the screen. So from here, we'll grab the curves. I probably need to make this a little smaller. I'm also thinking joining these together. Just so I can move it easier. Go and straight up. Now tell me. I think that's okay, but I also think that's cutting into that a little odd, so we're going to make it narrower. Gina, what are you doing? Don't believe you. Okay, we're going to grab it. I'm going to hit V. Make sure I snap it to that edge and then snap this edge to that edge. So that's much better. For the most part, that's good. This might be too short. Need that area for the sort of speaker holes. So I'm thinking maybe from the front, that's the back, I can go to our point mode. Grab these points, pull them down, pass it around. Okay, that's not letting me do it like a, not going to say the word. All right, so maybe if I grab the edge, no, because it's all joined. Well, let's go ahead and make it, and then I'll shift it once it's a piece, or I could scale it now that I think about it. We'll just use the Z from here, and I can just scale the lower portion. Now it's going to scale the top a little too, where that position was, but that's all right. And then we'll pull this down to be more appropriately placed. Then I'll worry about the holes and stuff here shortly. So there's that. We're going to go ahead and grab the face. We're going to say extrude W, use this piece. And you know what? We're not, because that'll screw that up. Let's go ahead and put these back together now. This and this. There we go. Now we can do it. And I'm going to say this, W, this. And now we can push that inward about to there. So good to go. Get rid of the curve. Start filleting the edges out some. You're gonna love this part. This is how many holes we have for this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 12 by however many are left. So let's just do 12 across to start with. So we're going to use this, make a little circle. From the front. I don't care if there's 12 or not. That's not important. And from here, I'm going to grab that and move it over just slightly. And now we're going to make an array. A rectangular array. This way. It doesn't matter if there's 12. No one cares. Now the endpoint 2. We're going to pull this down. Check how cool that is. We're going to say OK. Right click. Done. Not done. So now rectangular array to about there. Endpoint 2 is going to be on the surface. Has to be right there. We're good to go. So now we go face mode. And we say W on this guy. We have to select all our faces in here now. Darn it. That's a pain. Thought we were already pre-selected on those. I'm going to select all of them like so, and then deselect the main face if it gets selected. And now we're going to say W from this piece. Push these in. Right click and we're good to go. We can get rid of all of these circles. Absolutely not needed anymore. If we wanted to, we can also come in here and, unfortunately, manually select and fill out all these edges. If anybody's watching, say hello. There is a chat. I do look over at it from, once an hour or so as a joke. So this TV will be added to the Carl universe, not Carl, the Harold universe. Carl is a zombie. And on Reallusion's marketplace content store, as soon as they put it in there, I'm now a certified content creator or content developer for Reallusion, meaning I am certified. I'm professionally making money through them, and waiting for the money to come rolling in, Anyway, yeah, it's cool. So I'm making stuff for them. So buy from me because the stuff's good. That's what it means. All right, so there's the holes. Perfect. And now it looks like we need this little volume. I don't know if contrast. This is probably like a double stack knob here. And maybe there's a power there. I'm not sure. You probably pull it and push it, turn it on and off. So let's just do that. A multi-purpose, multi-function knob for that. This will require a hole in the front right about here. And to get that perfectly centered, you can take a construction line and kind of go from this, the middle of that one, to this one here. And I can move that down to where I want that to essentially be. Now I make the hole right on the center. That won't let me do it right on the center of that one. Odd, so I'm going to make a center. Oh, it's because it's not visible. Let's find it. Turn on our X-ray. Grab that new line. Pull it out to where it's on the top. It's kind of important. Don't know why it's so far down. I moved it in the wrong axis apparently, so I'm going to pull it this way. Looking from the front, I am going to now make a circle right in the center of that line, which our X-ray turned off should be right there. It's going to be a little bigger because this is the hole that the button goes through, the knob goes through. Looks like there was a dual level kind of hole there, so I'm going to do that. Let's make the hole first. So I'm going to grab those curves, move them back to the surface of the moon, to the TV. And I'm going to, I think I'm hilarious when I say stupid stuff like that. And now I'm going to grab both of these, extrude these into that part like so. And then I'm going to take this one and I am going to extrude it also, but into, well, I guess this same part still. Hang on. W, select, push that in now to there. Good enough. Get rid of our, I guess we can keep the bigger circle maybe. So let's get rid of the smaller one. And on the bigger one, we'll move it out. Probably could have kept both those circles now that I think about it. Let's get rid of, bring it back. So we're going to take both of those and move them out. I'm going to grab both of these. We're going to extrude that. I'm going to take this piece and extrude that just like that. There's no reason to do anything else here. I'm going to grab those, get rid of those. And I'm going to push this face probably in there. That way it just kind of hides away. Then these two can be made the same piece where you have less parts like that. We can take the edge of both of these, chamfer them down. Take this piece here maybe. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to undo that chamfer. Only do it to this edge to start with. Come on, edge. Got to select the edge. Chamfer that one in. See if I can do it a little bit more of an angle. Maybe like that. I'm going to pull this one out a little farther. And then maybe chamfer it again this way. I think that works. Now we need knobs. I need to make the bottom a little base type deal that sits underneath, so that's pretty easy. From the front, I think might be the better place to do it. I'm just going to create a square. Sure, let's try center square. Make that just a little bit shorter. We'll move this up to where it somewhat matches close enough to here. And then we'll pull that out front to back. How's that video going? Gotcha. All right, I'm going to move this face here forward. Now we can round everything around the edges, at least these four corners I'm saying. Like so. I will want to take this edge and do an offset curve. Like that. And I'm going to make this probably initially not have anything in here. So this will wind up going away like that. And then the four inner corners, not that people are probably ever going to really see them, but to be correct in the way I model, I'm going to make those rounded as well. And then just to make it nice, grab that curve and do a very small fillet all the way around. Just helps it feel finished and more solid. And then with that, we can take this and just bond those together and give it more of that retro feel. We're just going to take that edge and make it slightly filleted, like maybe like that. It's a little more square than I wanted, but I think that's fine. The TVs were 4x3, so that's really what you have to think about. So then I get to make the recesses for that. These guys, the main recesses. So to make sure that they are centered, I'm going to make a line that goes from here, crosses our center, and we can do that both directions if we want. I like to pull these out to the edge just so they don't get interfered with by any of that other stuff. Matter of fact, we can even take this and join that into one line to where we're not worrying about anything else now. But if we do that, then we lose our center here. So let's not. This is a center point. And I want to take that and just kind of do this with it too. This will give us our center to make our centers off of. So I'm going to find the center here, which we can't because of that. I should have thought of that. So boom. And we're going to move this point in to where I can use that. It's going to go from this inside edge. That will be considered our center point. And we got to do the same for the bottom one now. That's what Lord Farquaad thinks. I got called Lord Farquaad the other day because I raised my eyebrow in a picture. Can you believe that? That was by somebody being nasty too, so yeah. Thanks a lot. But luckily I have the feathers of a duck. I've never said that phrase in my life. Where everything just rolls off my back. Let's undo that and duplicate that one, I guess, and pull this one down. Center it to there. So now we have two perfect, almost ready receptacles for our knobs. That sounded so weird. And we're going to take, let's go ahead and cut out these lines. And we're going to take these insides. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. Boom. Take these, W, which is going to minus it from this main body part here. Pull those back like so. And there we go. And I say, let's get rid of the circles because in all honesty, we're going to come back to those anyway and have to make the knobs stuff, so I'm not worried about it. And with that, let's grab our edges for these and give those a nice fillet for the inside and outside curves. Something like that. Now on the knobs, I'm going to grab it. I'm just going to look at that picture. So that probably on a tiny post, and it's got that wide bit, and then it's got this thing in the middle. See, as a kid, I remember reaching for those knobs a lot. And I am not talking about being on a date. Now, the first thing I'm going to put here, that's probably why I get called creepy right there. I'm going to put a center of that, something like a little bit less. And I'm going to just duplicate this knob down to here when I'm done. And we're going to go ahead and make a second one right in the center that's a little like that. I'm going to grab both these curves, move them forward. And then we're going to take this face, extrude that out. And then I'm going to make a sort of a central rectangle, but I got to round the ends of it. So let's start, I guess, with the ends. That's close enough, I think, to the center. Something maybe about that wide. It is stylized, so I'm not 1000% worried about it being, you know, a little chunky or different. Also, let's change our clickable area there to the edge, because this needs to line up with that edge. And we're going to duplicate that dude. And I need to change my there, right there. Snap this to that edge. This edge, actually. And then we're going to take a couple lines and go from here to here. That's a tangent. And from here to here, that's a tangent. It makes me want orange soda when I say that word. And let's go ahead and trim the inner little circle bits from those. Now we have the beginnings of that little knob that needs to exist there to turn. We're going to push it in and pull it out, and that's what it's all about. Okay, and let's grab these dudes. Just going to make these, join these just for the sake of ease of dragging anything if I ever have to. Pull that down like that. Right click, and we're going to go here to this again. Pull these out. Something like so. Give these a slight fillet. Slight fillet. And I think just for good measure, I'm going to go ahead and put a post in there. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff. The curves. I'm going to make sure these are joined for the sake of doing it. And I'm going to put a post here that does go through that. I am going to grab that and push that back to where it... Oh, those are joined. This though, what's this? I guess that piece is part of it that's not joined. So we'll grab that, move it forward, and join it. Ain't nothing gonna stop me from joining stuff up together. All right, and boom, and now we can get rid of any redundant topology right here. Don't like that line, but it works. And let's go ahead and do a little rounding of this. I'm going to fill that in. So to do that, I'm just going to see if I can bring in this sidewall. Much smaller. And then if I wanted to, that is not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to move that. I wanted to extrude it, but I don't know. Yeah, that's going to have to be what we said. So let me see about, I'm going to create a, let's see, is it Control R, which is going to give me tab that the direction. And now I've got this isoparam, so I can now pull this section in, and that will be much better. Nope, we need that in, so let's do that. Right click to accept it. Yep, okay, good. I'm going to grab the edge now here on both the sides. Chamfer that backwards so it feels a little more techy. Works for me. In fact, we can take the knob now and push it up against the back there. So if I grab it and I say, hey, do it by this edge straight back here, and now match it to the surface inside the back there, I think that works. Looks good. That could be maybe a little farther out. So let's pull that back. And with that, I think what I want to do is one more detail here. I'll fix this. This here we're going to hide. This here we're going to hide. And that knob, on this face. So I Control R, get that, and now if I go tab, are you kidding me? That should give me a radial, what you call it. So what I'm going to do is, with the edge selected, because this is the way you would correctly do it, I'm going to create a offset curve like this, exactly like so. Now we can take this guy and just going to pull this back to a degree. Don't know how far it needs to go, doesn't matter. And now we'll bring our pieces back. I think that works. I'm going to see if I can make this just a little shallower. Yeah, that's better. And then we could take the whole thing. Oh, it didn't let me do it. I didn't finalize it correctly, probably. There we go. And now the entire knob, we should probably take that, push that a little farther back. And then take the knob, duplicate it. And I'm going to change my center point. Let's look in X-ray mode from the front. And we're going to snap that to our center point. And there you go. I'm going to take this knob and turn it to be different from the top one. And obviously that needs to be, have its rotation changed back to a center point. Textures will deal with a lot of the other parts. And then I'm going to need to go and find what's going on back there. Overall, I think that's pretty good. So I need to figure out now that stuff. Also, I'm realizing I think this did, maybe not, maybe it is just that back part. I was thinking it had a different texture or something, or I mean, sorry, shape, slant to that, and I think it's okay. So I'm going to leave that like so. I'm going to have to do the antennas, and I think overall it works. I wish I kind of had more of a bow to that, but I don't want to make it highly problematic. I think we'll keep it kind of like that. Don't really like it, the shape though. So what would I do to add this in a better way? Don't go changing entire TV just because it sucks a lot. It doesn't suck. It's just, that's not even the right tool. Let's use the curved one now. I mean, there's a way to do it, but it's going to be a bit of a pain. Let's see. I'm too much of a perfectionist. This is why it takes me forever to finish anything these days. Something like that. Yes, Sean, but that's what makes you so good at what you do, Lord Farquaad. I know. I know. I swear, if anybody ever calls me Lord Farquaad again, there's going to be some talking that needs to be done. Okay, so I think those are all. Oh, they're not. So let's grab that, pull this out, get these all on the same level here. So I'm going to grab it and move this and snap it to the circle. Grab this one, do the same. All right, so maybe I can make this 4 pieces here. So if I Alt X that one, use the freehand and do it from center. Turn off our X-ray for the moment. So I really need to join those up. They're not going to do it right now, and you can see there's a weird peeking that will happen here. Go back to my points and pull that guy down. It does not want to join them curves. That's all right. As long as I get a plane out of it, I don't care. So Alt X, F. We're going to go from the center and hopefully like so. Alt X, F, and try to go for the bottom now. So now I'm going to try and link these 2 points. Make sure that they are, and then zoom out, which we're not doing. Why? Okay, there we go. And link these 2 points. You can see they're a little off. Not just a little off there, but also their curves are a little wonky. So if I grab this one, Control, snap that to there, we have our plane. Now what I was doing with this is a different story, if I can remember that. All right, so now I'm going to duplicate. Let's see if these curves will join now. Probably not. No. Curves, I mean. No. So if I duplicate that, scale it slightly out from the front, if this works, it'll be a miracle. I'm just saying. Scale this in a little bit. I mean, more than likely this is not going to work, but hey, yeah. It's worth the shot. That's what I always say. Also, if we want to, we could pull this out and do the curves cut from that. So let's just grab the thing, push this back in here. All right, so we have to unjoin these because we need to make sure that we can scale the outside only. Look at that little guy hiding right there. Hope that was okay to do, because we are missing some pieces. Doesn't seem to be detrimental, which is surprising. All right, so now I can take this, I hope. Make this bigger just so it can cover our butts. I'll take all of these and hide them without deleting them yet. This piece and just move it back just to see what's actually going to cover. I think that will work enough. Just pull this like that. Yeah, I don't even need to do the other bit to it. I think that works. I'm just going to scale it up slightly. Come on. Good enough. All right, so now grab these corners. A little bit of a fillet on those and these. Nope. Must grab them all. Gotta grab them all. I mean, I think it works. That's, you know, for stylized is, I think, pretty good. Something like that. That's what we did on the other one. All right. And I know there was somebody OCD out there that was really like, oh, when's it going to fix that edge on the outside? I felt you, and I did it. Okay, so the back is going to be its thing. I need to go in and figure out where the antenna mounts and where the little vents are. Little cable hookup thing. I think overall that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that image. I'm going to delete all these curves that are just taking up space. We're not using it all anymore. I'll have to go through and Boolean some of this stuff together. Like all that can be stuck together now, I believe. I think all of that is pretty much good. This is, what is this now? Okay, so this is the main, I'm just going to call this face. The screen is there. This is, I think that's a part we've done away with, so gone. And this is the screen. What is this? That's the knob. the volume. Looks like a valve stem. So maybe it's valvium. This is just going to be called body without the little hash or the slash. This will be the top knob and bottom knob, lower knob. Of course I spelled it wrong because I can't type anymore. Lower knob. Okay, I think that works for the moment. I'll do the antenna, all that crap. And then I've got to do the cart for it. So that'll come next. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and go. It's been about an hour and 46 minutes. Time to stop. Take it easy. Have a good day. And